Hello, it's Ate. I've been a fighter pilot for the French Navy during 13 years. I'm French and Canadian. I'm now a keynote speaker and I work in a major airline in Canada. We're going to look at some news made the headlines a couple of days ago. It's a dogfight between a Mirage 2000, a Greek Mirage 2000 and a Turkish F16 dogfight that might have taken place on May the 3rd. Okay, so where did it take place? I don't know if you know your geography very well. Greece and Turkey are actually closer than one might think. A lot of islands around the ocean, la mer Égée, as we say in French, the Aegean Sea. Let's have a closer look. So you see I've put a red dot over the island where the helicopter was harassed. I'm sure you've heard in the news. There might have been a helicopter with a prime minister from Greece that was allegedly harassed by the Turkish. Once again, I wasn't there. I don't know. What we're going to do is look at the fact and the tapes, but that's to give you a closer idea of the area. So yes, Turkish soil and Greek soil are extremely close. You have tons of issue every year, actually thousands of what the Greeks call violation of their airspace and national soil. Okay, so that's where it allegedly took place. Just to give you an idea, you can actually see the Greek islands from Turkish soil. It is extremely close. And if we look back in time, about 100 years ago, there was a Greco-Turkish war after World War I. The two countries fought during 3 years. It ended up being a Lausanne Treaty, so they managed a deal in 1922-23. But if you look at the past 30 years-ish, there have been dogfighting, a lot of dogfighting and interception. In 92, you had an F1 and F16. It resulted in the loss of the F1. In 95, you had F16 against F16. In 96, a Greek Mirage 2000 shut down using infrared missile Magic 2. An F-16D with a casualty on board the F-16D. In 2006, you had mid-air between two F-16, again during an interception. In 2018, the Mirage 2000 from the Greek Air Force crashed as it was coming back after a scramble, after an emergency takeoff to intercept some Turkish aircraft. So a lot of tension. Pilots are used to that type of mission of taking off on alert, intercepting the other aircraft, and being aggressive yet not starting another war, which is extremely important, and we're going to understand why it's something to keep in mind with the video. So you can see the video everywhere on YouTube. What I'm going to do is we're going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it short. I'm going to use screenshots from that video. It's about 45-50 seconds max. If you want to open it on another window, have a look. What we're going to do is we're going to go through screenshots and I'm going to be talking about what is going on. So right now the video starts. We don't know exactly what happened during the intercept, but basically we do have our Mirage 2000. It's a Rafale, by the way. We do have our Mirage 2000 that is basically in an extremely nose down position. So he's sort of doing some sort of inverted Immelmann. So the Immelmann is usually, you're like that, you pull for a loop, you come back up, and you do alpha aileron roll, and that's it. He's doing the exact opposite. So he's coming down, he's diving on the opponent. He's coming from above, death from above, and is managing his energy to come from a high and pretty slow position to behind the enemy. So he's diving like this. He has perfect visual on the F-16. His speed is 225 knots indicated airspeed. His heading is 120. So he's still basically like this, and 25,000 feet. Is an extremely offensive and aggressive move. You can see the F-16, probably saw him. He's just touched the throttle. Infrared missile has a lock on the F-16, and you can see behind him this white stuff. It might be fuel. It's either flares, unlikely, most likely fuel. So that means basically the F-16 pilot just made a very abrupt and sudden change in his throttle position. And as the Mirage 2000 is coming on him, the F-16 pilot is probably going full power or close to full power and is going nose up rapidly. But it's actually too late already. The Mirage 2000 is coming from above in a perfect position, 300 knots. He's starting to have jamming signals. You can see now his heading is close to 290. So from that scene, it initially started like this. Now we are like that, about 30-degree nose down, coming in a shooting position. His weapon system is aligned with air-to-air gun. It's 30 Mach on the Mirage 2000. Yet, there is a missile lock with the infrared sensor, but there is no radar lock from the Mirage 2000 toward the F16. You can hear on the tape a lot of ECM noise. You can actually see jam in the screen. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the F16 is jamming. It's just because you're so close to the other aircraft, you're within like a couple hundred meters. A lot is going on in terms of electronic warfare. So this jamming might come or might not come from the F16. And it is important because usually when you go into severe jamming, it can be seen as an act of war. Again, in that case, we're so close to the enemy, I wouldn't be too upset about that jam signal. Again, and that's to keep in mind, the Mirage 2000 pilot could use his radar unless he has a radar failure, which is unlikely, but the radar is not plugged on the F16, and we'll talk about it in a couple minutes. So basically, the Mirage 2000 coming from above is maneuvering perfectly in the 6 o'clock of the F16 that saw the threat, that pulled up, but now is lacking energy. He just went transition from speed to altitude, but now he's climbing and is out of option. He doesn't have enough airspeed anymore. He's at about 300 knots. What is he gonna do? The only thing he can do is what we call a defensive brake turn. So he's like doing about 70 degrees to the right, nose down, 60-degree nose down, probably idle power to try to mitigate his infrared signature, to try to unlock the infrared missiles, and he's going in a defensive turn, so he's absolutely defensive. The Mirage 2000 have plenty of shooting opportunity. He has his gun ready, but again, he's not locking the enemy. The maneuvers are not as aggressive as you might think or you might expect. It is because the lack of energy from the Turkish F16. The Turkish F16 starts with a pretty low energy state, so he's not able to recreate energy. It's an F16, it's only a single engine, it's not as powerful as an F22 or stuff like that. He got basically caught unaware, or actually he's starting the fight on a very bad position, and that's why it is not as aggressive as you might think or expect. He's just out of energy. He doesn't have much energy to play with. You can see the Mirage 2000 as he's following the F16 is about 40-degree nose down. So the F16 actually is doing a pretty good job doing a defensive turn. It's almost by the book, nose down, very aggressive, probably idle power. But there is some room for more action. So he could be fighting a bit better. So either is not as good as he could be, or is reacting for the sake of reaction, but he doesn't want to scare the intercepting Mirage 2000 because he knows he's in a bad position anyway. So trying to fight more aggressively might just be more dangerous than anything else. So he's doing his thing, he's doing his defensive turn, and then you can see he doesn't believe in it anymore. He's just like letting slowly go, rolling out, and actually going in the other direction and just slowly coming back to a more upright position, slow turn. So really it's only all about the first seconds of the engagement where you see the Mirage 2000 coming from above. Just have a look at all the World War II engagement. It's just perfect gun maneuver. He's coming from above, he's moving directly in his 6 o'clock. There's absolutely not much the F16 can do. He got trapped. That's it. So he's like, okay, I'm doing my defensive turns. Initially, I'm trying to defeat your movement from above. I'm gonna try to prevent you from getting into my control zone. Didn't work. You're in my 6 o'clock. I'm doing my defensive turn very aggressively. Okay, still not working. Wings level slowly and going back. That's basically what he's doing. Again, what's interesting is no radar lock from the Mirage 2000. So my theory, either radar failure, unlikely, or rules of engagement, and you don't want to scare the F16 pilot too much. Maybe there is a limit they're allowed to play, a limit they're allowed to go to. We can do aggressive maneuvering, but we don't want to go too far. We didn't see any flares from the F16. We didn't see any target lock, radar lock from the Mirage 2000. So basically, let's say real dogfighting is this level of aggressiveness. They're playing around here. That's basically what's happening. So really not much to say. What will be interesting is to know what happened before. How did the Mirage 2000 get in that position? And what about the other assets? You can hear on the frequency, he's talking with his wingman or his leader. Do you have him in sight? Are you like recording? Yes, I am. So they're trying to get some footage, video footage of the F16 defensive. And they did. Good job. Congrats, guy. Very good maneuver. But I like to know what's happening because I've read some papers saying there were two Mirage 2000, but two F16 as well. Was the other Mirage 2000 aggressive? And from the radio chat, sound like it, aggressive on the other F16 as well? So was there basically two single fights happening at the same time? Because my question is, as this Mirage 2000 is absolutely offensive on this F16, where is his wingman? Where is his leader? The F16 is unlikely to be flying alone in a foreign airspace on his own. So it will be very interesting to know exactly the big picture. We're only seeing one little portion of the fight. So how did the F16 get in such a defensive position against the Mirage 2000 initially? So again, be very careful when you see video footage like this. You don't know what happened before. Maybe the F16 had 5 possible kills on the Mirage 2000 before. Maybe there was another F16 airborne at 10 miles, 15 miles that had target lock on the Mirage 2000. Again, unlikely. But just be very careful when you see footage like that. And even if I was a professional naval aviator for years and I flew dogfight and trained in dogfight, there isn't that much I can reveal about that tape. I'm missing a lot of information. So from what I can see, very good maneuver from the Mirage 2000, from the Greek Mirage 2000. I do not know where the combat took place. I do not know if it's above Greek or Turkish territory actually. I do not know where the two wingmen or leaders are. We only see 2 aircraft. What I can tell you is very good maneuver from the Mirage 2000. I'm going to show you using DCS what it looks like a little bit in with the software. Extremely good maneuver. Infrared lock on the F16. Valid gun kills on for training on the F16 as well. Jamming, yes, but you're actually so close there isn't much you can really learn about it. No radar lock from the Mirage 2000. Will not to escalate the fight too much, probably. No flares from the F16. It wasn't feeling that attacked. So I would say it's very aggressive maneuvers, yet we're still in, I'm looking at you, I'm showing you my strengths and so on. And pretty sure to say out of those 45 seconds, Greece 1 point and Turkish 0. But look at history, look before, look after. Watch out for the coming weeks. I'm sure it's not going to stay like that for too long. I hope it helped. If you have any question, if you have any more information on what happened, share some links. I might do a second video about it. But again, I'm no magician. I can only look at what I saw, and what I saw was a Mirage 2000 coming from above, getting in a very good position, an F16 trying to prevent a control zone entry. He didn't manage to do it, so then he went, because he was out of energy, he went in a defensive turn. The Mirage 2000 didn't commit any mistake, maintained aggressive, maintaining a good firing position, and did his job. So the F16 just stopped fighting, basically went back, resumed slowly to a more normal, straight and level flight, and that's it. We're talking about 25 seconds of action. Have a very good day. In the coming days, we'll be releasing an analyze from F22 against Rafale. Be sure to subscribe, brand new channel. I'm sure you're gonna like it. We're doing some content in French, some content in English. Being French and Canadian and trained by the US Navy, that's why I'm trying to have a bilingual channel. So make sure you share if you like the content, and see you very, very soon, and fly safe.